What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. I just had some random thoughts on my mind today. It was more along the line of like dreams and stuff like that. And, sometimes you have like really, really weird dreams. Some of them so close to reality, you could swear that they actually happened. And, some people have dreams where they like repeat the day that they just had, or maybe they even had it that night before, or else you might have a dream that, you know, all people are created. No, I'm just kidding. But you have a dream that as soon as you wake up that you almost instantly forget, or as soon as you go get something to write it down or record your voice recorder or something, that you forget it, and the story or the dream starts to deteriorate in your mind, or you have those where you remember it, but when you go to articulate it, you go to recreate it through words that you just forget. You can't even explain it. It's kind of weird, right? If you ever had any dreams like that, you know what I'm talking about, right? Or else you have some of those dreams where you're stuck in there and you can't get out. You can't wake up. Like, I don't know what kind of dreams you call them, lucid dreams or something like that, where, or if you're like free to walk around in them and you're like, man, but I can't get out. Like, this is scary. Or like if you're falling and you're about to hit the ground, then you finally wake up and your heart's beating a million miles per hour, stuff like that. And, sometimes we sit there and we think, like, what was the significance of this stuff, I'm guessing we've almost all been there, or had some form of it, and or like kind of like night terrors too, So I'm gonna share a little bit of some stories that I've had in regards to those things that I can remember, anyways, because there's some that like never left my mind since I was a kid, that never left my head, where I was able to remember them and recount them, and some of them, like, they reoccurred through my life, and not that I'm like Nostradamus or some crap like that, but I've had a couple where they've came to life, and it's scary, and you didn't know that what like those dreams like kind of represented until those things were happening. So one of the first ones that I'm gonna recount is, it's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be about a party that I went to, and how that related to one of the dreams I had when I was like a young kid. And that dream actually happened like at least 2 or 3 times in my life. That's one of the main reasons why I think I remembered it so much, is because it happened multiple times, and it kind of surrounded an old school down in the cities. It was called Heart of the Earth, or Odeaki, before it was basically let go of. It was a Native American charter school that the American Indian movement, they end up getting the rights or getting that land and starting up a school for Native Americans. It was a survival school for Native American culture and stuff like that. And if you went there, hey man, hit me up in the comments, because I went there too for a few years. My parents went there, and I think they met there, so that's pretty awesome. And it was a creepy fucking school, though. It was really creepy. I think it was built like 1901 or some crap like that. And then they had like priests and stuff hang themselves in that school. But they ultimately tore it down, and I think they're now like condominiums or some shit like that, which sucks, because that was like a very old place, and it was haunted. They should have kept that shit. The shit was haunted, But whoever bought it up obviously wanted it for something else and generate profits and all that jazz. But regardless, let's go back to it. The dreams would relate to this place, Heart of the Earth, because I would have dreams of me going to the school, and at this point, I didn't even know I ever went to the school. The only time I went to that school, was when I was a baby, because my mom had me when she was a kid, still in school. So she was still going to high school when she had me. I think my dad was there, or else he graduated. I don't know the full scope. I just know that my mom had me while she was at school there. And there's a picture. She has a picture of me. I have it on Facebook, but her friends holding me, and they're sitting in that sign down in the cafeteria of that school, and it's pretty cool. But anyways, I had a dream there where it was like somebody was playing a flute, and you can hear it echo throughout the whole school. And there was a school entrance on the. It wasn't like directly out the street. It was from like the parking lot. And as soon as you enter there, you'll be in the staircase area, and you can go downstairs, you can go upstairs to the top, and stuff like that. But I knew the noise was like originating from the top in my dream, and in my dream, for some weird reason, like when I entered, I was down in the basement. And if you've been there, if anybody had been there, you know that when you enter, you're not there. But in the dream, because dreams happen where you like teleport to different areas or something like that, you could start off any freaking where your mind is at that time, I'm guessing. And so, anyways, I could hear it there, and I was like doing like parkour stuff, like I was running around, and I had friends, and I didn't recognize any of those people until like later on, I'll go into that later. But this is the first time like I was just playing with some kids. I didn't know they were I assumed they were friends because I was playing with them, right? But I didn't know them. We were playing, and then my like little brother was there, and I was like, that's weird because he can't even really walk yet, and stuff like that. But I knew him as my brother in the dream, and it's like, whatever. So we're running towards the source of this flute playing, and we end up going up to the middle floor, ground level, and we went to the gymnasium. So the gymnasium, there used to be like a bell tower somewhere above that, which they end up like demolishing or whatever and got rid of it or some crap like that. But apparently the priest like hung himself in that room, and in the dream, that's where he was playing at. And I remember like getting in there, and like you just didn't see anything, and you just heard the noise generating from this room in the dream, and it scared the crap out of me. And so then I end up, it goes from that, it was like a force pushes you away, and then all of a sudden we're running in the dream. So now I'm running, and now we're outside, we're no longer in the school. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And all I know is I feel like I'm scared for my life. And we're running, my brother falls, pick him up, just keep on running, come on, let's go, little brother, And so we're running, and as we're running, I see this. It was like it showed like a close-up of a green dress, and it was covered in blood. And I was like, what the heck? And in the dream, while I'm seeing this dress covered in blood, it was like screaming. A woman screams, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was a kid and stuff like that, and it would like scared the absolute crap out of me, But I was able to get myself up at this time. Like it was so scary that my body woke itself up, and I woke up and I was so scared. And then later on, I ended up like 6th and 7th grade, end up going there and making friends and stuff like that. Went to school there, did a bunch of weird shit, because wasn't exactly like one of the best schools, a lot of kids didn't give a shit, their families didn't give a crap, and education was not a priority there. And like to be quite frank, the education system there the curriculum that they had was a joke. So, and the teachers, like most of the teachers didn't give a shit. There was a couple there that did give a crap, but it was laughable to say the least. And they were all underpaid and all that jazz, and they had to put up with a bunch of shitheads. But myself included, because I went there, so big ass shithead, because I was a shithead and I was a class clown, and I was a dipshit. I was a dipshit kid. So, and we all are at some point in our life, right? And so, made friends and stuff like that. And then I got to see the whole building. I got pretty well acquainted with it. Everybody knew me because of my mom, because my mom went to school there, and a lot of these people knew my mom and or went to school with her. So some of them end up working there, like the front office and down in the cafeteria and stuff like that. So the cafeteria ladies would always like hook me up with some extra milk, some yogurt and stuff, and apples and shit. And they're like, oh yeah, go ahead. But my buddy'd be there and they're like, get your ass to class, He's like, why are they so nice to you? And I was like, I don't know. They like my mom or something, because they were friends when they were kids. So, and they went to school there. But anyways, it was like a year after that when I had the second dream. So I was about 8th grade. I had almost the same exact dream, except this time the kids we were playing with, I knew them. And I don't know if they were in the original dream when I was younger, but I knew that they were in the second dream. And, my brother, again, was there, and that same green dress was there, except this time, all that stuff happened like that was before that, except for like one little minor detail. It was like, it was almost like The Matrix, because The Matrix came out at that time. I don't know if it had any persuasion on my dreams, but it looked like, how those bullets come at like Neo when he was dodging all the bullets going backwards and stuff. It was kind of like that, when that original pulse of energy in the original dream came out. It was like that, except with like the bullets and stuff like that. So we were running and doing all that, and it's like, what the heck? So when I seen that lady in the green dress this time, it was an actual lady. Like I could see the lady. It was a little further out, and I couldn't see the face, but the face was right there, and I was like, what the heck? Because it reminded me of like those old Native American dolls where they leave the face blank, because I think in our belief system is if you put a face to it, you also put a spirit to it. So that's why, like, you see some of these traditional dolls, they don't have faces to them. So that's what I was told anyways when I was a kid. But I don't know how true that is. Some people might say it's not true, but that's what I was told. And that's what I've always kept in my mind. So when I say stuff like that and people are like, I never heard of that. I'm like, I have. So I don't know. Many people can hear different things. There's many different belief systems out there, and who knows? So I know I don't know. I just know what I was told and stuff like that. And so anyways, this goes on. It happens one more time in high school. Almost the exact same way, except, it got like, it just, like that, those screams, they just got a lot louder from that girl's thing. But at this time, I was starting to have like way more vivid dreams and all these weird things where I can like keep myself in the dreams, and I was like starting to be able to navigate in the dreams. And it was weird because I'd go like this, like my hands started twitching when I went to sleep, and I became conscious of my hands moving. I knew I was going to have a weird dream where I could I'd do whatever the heck I wanted, at this point, I only had like cigarettes, and going to high school here. We did weed, but I didn't never inhale. I never got like stoned or anything like that. So not that I know, I didn't get stoned. So, but I know people like smoked around me and stuff like that. But cause when I got older, smoked weed, and I knew the effects of that. But I never experienced any of that when I was a kid, right? But so I'd know I'd go into these dreams because I could touch, and that way I can start to move my hand to wake myself up if anything happens. And, because sometimes weird stuff pops out, and various things like that. So, but in this dream after that I see this lady, I was able to kind of walk around. So I could, where my fear levels, I was able to lower because I knew you just stay calm. You got to be as calm as you can, and that way you don't wake yourself up or have a heart attack or some shit in your dream, And I was able to do that through that, and I was like walking around, and it became real weird because there was like this reoccurring thing that would come into my dreams at this time as well. It was like, it's hard to explain. It was like a shadow guy that I would always be looking for behind me. You see him on the side of your eyes and stuff like that. But he'd be in the dreams, and he'd be less of a like hiding. You know how you're awake, you see him in the corner of your eye or something, and there's like nothing there. But in the dream, there'd be something there, And I don't know. It was just real creepy. So it was like somebody was watching me. It would be sitting there like, it'd almost be like they were whispering your name in your ear, but they were like a great distance away. And yeah, I don't know. But anyways, this story actually ties into the party later on. So I was about 22 years old. We're drinking, smoking weed. Went hotboxing with my boy. We drove, and we were smoking. We were going, the back roads, smoking. We were smoking a blunt. The blunts, you break open a cigar, take out all the insides, and then you fill it with marijuana, and then smoke it that way. I think the Jamaicans came up with that. Not entirely sure, but I heard it on JRE once, so we're gonna go with it. And so we're smoking a blunt, come back, and some Russian lady, she was married, and she was also weird. And I didn't think about it at the time, but she had a weird. She had a black leather jacket on, but she also had like a green skirt, and I didn't think of anything because it didn't resonate with me of it being a possibly a dress or anything like that. So, anyways, we come back, and she was like mad because my buddy didn't want to fuck her because her husband was like in prison, so she was like sleeping around and doing whatever because her husband's in prison, and I can fuck whoever I want, type stuff. Don't care, even though like some of the Russian ways are very strong moral and they have these weird beliefs, but they still, people are gonna fuck around if they're pieces of crap like that. And nobody wanted to fuck her at this party that we had. My buddy ended up leaving because she like kept trying to bug him, and he was like, dude, like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, and she was like grabbing us and like interrogating everybody else too, like, why doesn't he want to talk to me or something? And you want to go fuck me in the bathroom? Like, no, I don't want to go fuck you, first of all, lady. So why don't you just like go home and take care of your kids or something, like, who's watching your kids? But we were all just drinking, didn't give a shit, and we said that, but she, she's like, oh, they're with their grandma or something. It was like all day long, like at the time didn't care because not our kids, right? But anyways, she ended up going to the bathroom, and then like we're like, dude, she's been in there for a while, and like, yeah, you're right. And then my buddy, she said, I think I hear some banging, and then I heard some banging too. It was like just loud knocks, like I was like, what the hell is that? She's like, dude, you should go check on her. I'm scared to go in there. And I was like, you're scaring me right now, but we might as well see if she's okay, if she didn't fall again, hurt or something. We didn't hear her call out. But anyways, end up opening this bathroom door, and there's fucking blood everywhere. She was slitting her wrist with some little eyebrow shaver thing, cutter thing. I don't know. It was a small blade anyways, but she was digging into her fucking wrist. She probably had like 20 easily on her wrist and was just like bleeding. And it was that dark, thick blood too. I was like, holy shit. I was like, so I end up grabbing her, getting her a full Nelson, and so I end up grabbing that thing out of her hand, threw it to the thing, and she's just like, ah! She would start screaming, and like I was beating her up or something, but I didn't, I just had her in a full Nelson. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You have kids, and you have, like, you have this life, and you're out here slitting your wrist for what? For some pee-pee? Like, what the fuck, lady? Get your life together. I'm all shit-faced and stoned as a motherfucker, but when I seen that, I instantly sobered up, and I grabbed this lady and was like, oh my God. But she didn't have her jacket on, and then instantly, like, it reminded me of that dream that I had of that bloody green dress of my dream, because her dress was covered in fucking blood. And I was like, that's all I could think of while I was training her. I was like, dude, is this what the fucking dream was telling me all these years? And, you know, like, I don't know. I was like, dude, that's like the craziest shit. And I was telling people, and like they didn't believe me because it's the first time I brought it up, especially the ones that were a part of that situation. Like at first I grabbed it and they were stunned. They were stunned because I don't think they've ever really seen somebody like slitting their wrist or something. I never did neither. I always wondered what would happen if I seen that. Like I thought it would always just freeze up or something and like not know what to do. But instantly I grabbed her. I'm like, call the fucking cops. And they're like, oh, call the cops. It was like, hurry up, get the fuck out of here. Like, get your kids out of here. Because my buddy, she had her kid too. So, but he was like playing in his room. She didn't have much to drink, but she was still having, you know, a good time with everybody and stuff like that. So the kid came out to see that because he heard the banging and stuff like that. Great kid, you know. He calls me Uncle Travi and stuff like that. So glad I ain't setting like bad examples because, you know, you don't think about it at the time, but those are some bad examples that could affect young people's lives, you know. They see that all the time. They might see people fighting. They see shit like that, you know, people slitting their wrist or something. And, you know, there can be some bad individuals that come out of life, but also there'd be some stronger ones and some really good ones. So it's not always, I guess, a negative thing if you look at it, because he goes to school and he's well-mannered and stuff nowadays. So, you know, glad for him, you know, glad to see that. But I had other dreams too where it was almost like the Grim Reaper was like chasing me. So that concluded that. I haven't really had that dream since, but I had like the dream of the school, and I'm like, man, too bad they tore it down, or else I'd go back there and do like a ghost adventure type thing, because that school was definitely haunted and very fucking creepy and stuff like that. So especially the mansion next door to it, they had tore that down too, so that sucks. And that one has way more ghost stories and stuff from people. But I think it was older. That was in the 1800s when that one was built. So that was built before the school, the church, because it used to be an old church. But anyways, I'd have these other dreams where like I was getting chased by like the Grim Reaper, and he spoke in like high pitches. You know, like those gray voice, the gray channels, like when the screen breaks up. When I was a kid, you had to play with like the bunny ears to try to get a picture. It was like that, but like the pitch of the noise was like higher pitched, and it was more scrambled, you know. But like as you're like, ah, shit, when you hear this voice in the dream or that screech, it was like it was speaking to me telepathically. So I knew what it was saying, and that it was through these frequencies able to communicate to me in the dream, you know. And it was like something about come with me, essentially like, you know, it's like your time to go, you know, stuff like that. And this is around the time I started quitting alcohol, and, you know, I remember I had a hard time, but, you know, made it through it and stuff like that. But this entity would be in my dreams quite often as I was coming down and having withdrawals from, you know, some of the alcohol, because I would twitch and I'd like cramp up, and like in my chest area, I thought my heart was going to stop. That's what it felt like when I was getting off that shit, you know, and trying to kick it and be more honest with myself, and, you know, start doing better things than just drinking booze, you know. And I don't know, I'm trying to be an adult, I guess. And it sucks, but, you know, you got to go through that stuff. And if you got to quit that shit, some people, you know, I just couldn't control myself at the time. And, you know, who really can? But, yeah, the thing would chase me through, like I jumped through portals, kind of like Rick and Morty at the time when that was happening. Like it reminded me of that when I started seeing Rick and Morty. It's like, dude, that's crazy. But, you know, it was very scary, but I had so many more dreams. It's easy, you know, and scary. And, you know, I had a lot of dreams with my grandpa. And even during like the day, like after he died, cause he died when I was 16, I had that big long talk about him that I shared about an hour long, a little over an hour, about why like people can can change and stuff like that. But I would hear him in my ear sometimes be like, T, because he would call my name at night, or my brothers, Junior. You would hear him because we lived down in the basement too. My mom let us in the basement, and we'd go visit him late at night. So sometimes I hear him calling me and stuff like that. I had weird dreams like that. So I could get more in depth because I remember those ones, and it kind of pertains to like some of our like native knowledge. They say if the spirits come to you in your dreams and they want you to go with them, you should never go with them because they're calling you to that other world. Or if you believe in that. If you don't believe in that, that's fine, obviously, because it's your belief, right? But in our belief system, is like they're calling you to that other world, to that other place, that beautiful place. Maybe they're lonely for you and they want to see you. Or maybe you were lonely for them and you called out to them, because sometimes that can bring them back to this world, they say, and prevent them on their journey to that next life, that next never-ending life, because there is no time, there is nothing there that is like this place. You get hurt, there's time, you get old, all that shit, right? But, because he wanted... So the dream goes like this. He wanted me to dig like a hole for him to get to the other side. So I was like, what does that mean? Like in my head, in my dream, I was like, oh man, he wants me to go with him and stuff like that, because he wants me to take him on his journey, dig him underground, like, bury him, and then we're going to come out the other side, essentially die, right? And I was like, so I'm sorry, Grandpa, I can't do it. And I remember him like begging me in my dream. And it was, it was exactly him, and it was like his comforting voice. And, he shared a last story in my dream for me before he went on his journey. But, had a few more dreams after that. But nothing like that where it was asking me to go with him and help him on that other side. And that was like one of those things where I was like, dude, old native religions to me kind of became true, but that could have also been psychological for all I know, and stuff like that. But anyway, sorry about the longer ramble, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this weird dream stories. I've always wanted to talk about them. I've always wanted to record them. It's like I said, with like a lot of that paranormal stuff, you talk about the dreams and stuff like that, people still, they looked at me like I was a crazy person too. So I kind of kept my dreams to myself. I've had other dreams where I don't want to say any names because I don't want to say anything to the families, but I said this one girl was telling me like goodbye and kept like saying see you later, that she had to go. I was like, you don't have to go. And saying she was going to take her kids. Like, it was almost nightly that I was having this dream with this chick. And I didn't want to tell her or her family, like, hey, man, I think you should be careful and watch what you're doing or something, because people would think I'm crazy if I came out of nowhere and be like, hey, saying that, like, you're having dreams about her? Like, you're a creep, like, why are you dreaming? You thinking about her like that? I mean, she was older than me, stuff like that. But I kind of regret not saying nothing because I don't think if I said anything that anything would have happened anyways, or if that it would have prevented that or anything like that. But she ended up taking her life and her kids' life. So very sad story, true. Killed her kids, killed herself after, and sad because I remember, I was pretty close to him, and I thought, it is what it is, and it sucks, but it's a true story. And I didn't want to. I felt bad because I felt like I should have said something about the dreams and stuff like that, but I never did. I never came out because, like I said, it would sound creepy or like I'm going to be a stalker or some shit, because that's how some people might interpret it if nothing happens and you come out and you say you have dreams like that. I don't know. I don't know if you want to comment down below. Does that make me a bad person for not, saying anything? Should I have said anything, And, is what it is. That's one of those ones where like my dream actually came, like kind of tied into real life, you know. And I had a few of them so far, but that was one of those other main ones where they had to go and they, you know, tragic end. So, anyways, if you guys like this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate it. If you're returning, thanks for coming back, guys. And I always appreciate the awesome comments. You know, Eli and you know, Maddie and Philip. You know, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And as always, I hope you guys have a great one. Peace. Love you guys.